My name is Courtney Thomas, and this is my service learning project video for our development class. Before I get started, I just wanted to go ahead and introduce my theoretical orientation. So the models of development that really resonate with me, there are two. The first one is Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. I really like the idea of there being a developmental task assigned to each level and age that we're at as we develop, because as we are different ages, our goals are very different, and that's something that I experienced when I was a kid. Obviously, the things that I was going through as a young child are not the same as my goals and the things I'm going through as an adult. So as you get older, those stages change and those tasks change as well. So that is why that model resonates so greatly with me. The other model that greatly resonates with me is Bronfenbrenner's ecological model. I really like that idea that all the stages of the model interact together. There are a great deal of things that influence us. It's not just our family and our parents that influence our development. The culture and society in general greatly influence our parents and therefore influence us. They influence the kind of living situations we live in as children and as we are growing up and developing. All these things are greatly influential, such as school, such as social services can be involved. All of the other institutions that our families are involved with, all of these things influence our development and affect the people that we become. And therefore, I think Bronfenbrenner's model that addresses all of those levels is really important to keep in mind so that we get the whole picture of what impacts an individual's development. For my service learning project, I volunteered for Mount St. Vincent Home, which is a residential treatment center and therapeutic elementary school for kids with behavioral and emotional disorders. They use animal therapy at MSV as one of a variety of arts and alternative therapies. They also do play therapy, dance therapy, music therapy, all kinds of things like that. So it's a great environment to learn some of those alternative therapies that we have available to us these days. The reason that I chose this project is because animal therapy is something that is really important to me. It's something that I'm really interested in. I think it's really effective. I have done equine therapy in the past and worked with a ranch, and I just think that it can be incredibly powerful for helping especially children but also adults connect and learn, and therefore it's something that I'm really interested in and would like to do in the future, and that's why I chose this project. My role in this project was that I observed many animal therapy sessions, and then as my therapist began to trust me and get to know me, they actually let me help and run some activities in the sessions, and that was really amazing. So I got to do a variety of things, and then I also spent a lot of time outside of sessions discussing just things in general with our therapists and just learning from them. Animal therapy is connected to development in a variety of ways. Like I said before, it helps kids and adults get those connections with something, in this case a dog, that they don't have from their experiences in the past. So that ties back to Erikson's psychosocial stages, just because there's all those stages that have developmental tasks, and if we don't go ahead and pass those tasks, it can affect the tasks that we have in the future and therefore our development in the future. And what animal therapy does is it helps our kids go through some of those tasks. For example, trust versus mistrust. Many of our kids have experienced severe abuse and neglect, and they have some serious mistrust for not only adults but all the people around them. And so animal therapy creates a unique environment for our kids to connect with someone, even if it's not a person, it's a dog, but it helps them gain that trust so that one day they can establish that trust with an adult and then go through and complete that developmental task and then move on to the next task at hand, which is really important for a lot of these kids. How I learned in this project was obviously observing was a large part of it, and then also interacting not only with our kids but also with our therapy dogs, the therapists. I learned just from every moment of this experience, and it was completely amazing. I learned a great deal of things from working with our animal assisted therapists at Mount St. Vincent Home. One of the things that I learned is that just what animal therapy looks like with dogs. Because, like I said, I've done animal assisted therapy with equine, so with horses, but it's a completely different ballgame with canines. The opportunities that you have are just so much more varied because you don't have to be in a ranch. You can actually bring the animals to the facility where the kids are living, so therefore they get a lot more one-on-one time with them, and there's just a lot more opportunity for them to have that connection more often. There's also just a wide variety of things that you can do. You can stay inside, you can go outside, you can stay on grounds, you can go to a park, you can do whatever. And it's still therapeutic and can still be really helpful to our kids. So I just learned a great deal about the variety and the plethora of things that you can do when working with canine assisted therapy with kids, and just how many opportunities there are to help a kid with a dog. Um, I also, like I talked about before, just learned a lot about the connection that a child can make with a dog. Like I talked about before, some of those connections are really, really hard to make. Lots of the kids at Mount St. Vincent Home do not get along well with adults. They don't ever make really deep connections with the adults in their lives. Some of them don't even make deep connections with their peers. But most of those kids, even if they can't make a connection with another human being, make incredible connections with the animals we work with. At Mount St. Vincent Home, we do work with mostly dogs, but we also have a guinea pig that the kids work with. And it's just really incredible to see their complete personality shift and how they are when all of that social construct washes away, and they're not worried about the pressure of what people are thinking about them, about what expectations people might have of them, and what they're supposed to be doing and not supposed to be doing. That all of that washes away, and they're just themselves. And it's so amazing to just see that happen with an animal. Another thing that really impacted me that I learned with working with animal therapy with the dogs is just how empathetic dogs can be. Most of you, if you have dogs, you know that your dog knows when you're sad. They can tell. They're pretty empathetic animals and they're fairly intuitive. But that seems more reasonable with this dog that you spend every single night with. You see them many, many hours a day. They observe you. They see you. They know what you're like. These kids, they only see their dogs for an hour or two a week, but these dogs know when they're sad. A particular example that I observed was a session in which one of our kids, he lost an adult tooth, and he was really, really upset about it, as I'm sure we all would be, but his dog knew. His dog just sat next to him and put his head in his lap, and they just sat there and talked and petted for a long time. The dog knew it wasn't going to be a fetch day. He didn't run towards the door. He wasn't excited about playing. He knew that his job was to comfort this boy, and so he just sat there with him. And it was just really, really amazing to see that connection go both ways. Another thing that I learned is how effective animal therapy can be in teaching a child new coping skills. One of our children, he has a book that says, "This is how Darwin helps me." Darwin is one of our therapy dogs, and the book is full of pictures that his therapist has taken over their time together, which has been over a year of animal therapy, and what he and Darwin were doing at that time to help him calm down. So there's just one of the pages is Darwin helps me by letting me pet him. And so petting Darwin really helps him calm down because he sits still, he pets the dog, and he focuses on other things. And the book is full of other things that he does with Darwin that help him calm down. And some of those things he even integrates into his regular life, even when Darwin's not there. For example, he pets a stuffed animal instead of Darwin when Darwin's not available, and that helps him calm down and keeps him from being aggressive. Why what I learned was so important is because it gave me a much better understanding of how animal therapy works, what the process looks like, and how I get from where I am now to where I want to be. Um, Animal therapy is just so effective and useful with kids and adults. And like I said, it's something that I'm very interested in pursuing. So I think it was just really important for me to be able to observe it and experience it so that I can get there. For those of you who are also interested in pursuing animal therapy with dogs, just so you know, your dog needs to go through a canine good citizen test, which just shows that they know basic commands, that they're not going to jump on people, stuff like that. You can look it up online and learn what all the requirements are, and then there's various facilities that will go ahead and facilitate that test for you. One of those facilities is the Denver Pet Partners, or another Pet Partners Association will go ahead and evaluate your dog and let you know if they're appropriate for animal therapy. So for my reflective analysis, I think it was really important that it's really important just to correlate animal-assisted therapy with Erickson's psychosocial stages. Just like I told you before, these animals really help these kids achieve these stages and these tasks that they've been unable to achieve for various reasons, and it helps them get back along the track for normal development. Another model that it correlates greatly to is Bronfirmer's ecological model, because this is a great example of a child's microsystem, their family, not being able to protect them, and therefore the exosystem being forced to step in and really help them. And if the exosystem wasn't a part of their development, then animal therapy wouldn't be a factor, and we wouldn't be able to help these kids. And it's just a great example of how the larger society really can affect what happens to a child and how they develop. So in conclusion, I just wanted to note a few things. After my sessions, I interviewed a few kids. I'm not allowed to record them for confidentiality purposes, but I did write down some of the things that they told me. And I think that these are really cool things that they told me all by themselves without being prompted. All I asked them is what they liked about working with their dogs and how they thought that their dogs helped them. Some of the responses were, he always likes to play with me no matter what. And so there's no expectation for him to be good or bad. The dog always just wants to play with him. He'll play catch with me forever. This really said to me that the dog doesn't get bored with me. He doesn't get tired of me, which happens with kids and adults, is a kid or an adult no longer wants to listen to you, but the dog will spend time with you no matter what. And so I thought that that was really impactful. He calms me down when I pet him. I talked about that already. Is one of these boys that is just one of his greatest coping skills, is just sitting down and petting this dog. And then the last one was, I like to throw football with him because it helps me calm down and distracts me from the bad things going on. I think that one just speaks for itself. It's just really amazing how much this one good experience, even if it's only an hour or two a week, can give a child hope for their future and everything else, even when everything else in their life seems to be going wrong. Before I end my video, I know this has been super long, much longer than I intended it to be, but I just wanted to thank you all for listening to my project. After the video with me, there's just a couple of interviews with some of the other therapists that I worked with and why they like working with animal therapy and why they think animal therapy is effective. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you later. Bye.